I'd like to welcome you to Mars. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have the distinct pleasure of taking this audience with us on a quick trip to the red planet Mars. Yeah, that place where sandwiches and rust and people dressed like kimono dragons live day and day with the hatred of human spirit. It's a strange place that we call home, and we hope that you will enjoy it too. I just want to remind everybody to gather their belongings and exit to the left. You'll notice the Polynesian resort out there. It's flowers, earth. It's a Hawaii thing. Not at all like beautiful Mars. Yeah, sand. The sand dragons. Sandinistas. This is Mars. Welcome to Mars. For me and my family, we choose Mars.
Time is important. That time, does it really even exist? And it's not even, it's another dimension.
Jimbo, I think what you're actually
Talking about is known as the planet Mars. 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 Well, yeah, man. You know, Mars has all these caverns and tunnels and stuff. It's a lot like my Slurpee. The Slurpee has two primary tunnel conduits from the bottom of the Slurpee slurry sludge, and one of them has developed some type of hairline crack, and it no longer functions properly. Suction has been compromised, much as the Jovian life system is compromised by an asteroid or some kind of treaty meeting gone wrong. Yeah, that one's not working. Wait, that one's not working. Yeah, pretty much just like Mars. So, the kind of issues I'm having with this Slurpee. Martian. I turned into a Martian shortly after the brain freeze. Mars is a planet for men, by men. We don't need women taking our jobs. Recently, a lot of women are trying to enter the workforce. This is not good. This is not the Mars that I know. For hundreds of years, Mars men have worked in the home, have cooked during the day, have raised the children. We've sent our wives out to do their wifely duty and earn money out there in the world of business. But now, these new Mars women, they're wanting to displace men from their place in the home. And I, as one Mars man's not going to stand for it. You ask me, a man belongs in the home, raising his kids, cooking their dinner, washing them, bathing them, helping them with the homework. Let's keep women in the business world. Keep them out of our homes. Well, except for as wives, of course. I mean, obviously we like that part, right, guys? Well, it's not the kind of place to raise a family. In fact, it's cold as hell. What is the truth about Mars? Mars is a red planet. That much is a given. A communist, suffocating, demanding octopus of power. This is your first trip to the red planet. I'd like to take a moment to direct your attention to the sign over your head. No chewing gum is allowed. We have talked with the Singapore government and have come to a mutual agreement. Us Martians, as well as the Singaporeans, would like you to know that chewing gum is not only not allowed, but it's seriously frowned upon. We would frown upon it very much should any of you Earthmen choose to chew gum. Please obey the signs. Every second Wednesday of the new month, we like to get together over in room 22B. It's the teacher's lounge during the day, but we have authorization to make use of it. We'll try to have some refreshments for people that are able to make it. One of the topics that I hope to discuss with more depth and insight is the topic of Mars. I'm hoping to find friends and other people that might enjoy getting together to talk about Mars and what Mars means to them and what Mars could be to all of us. If you have any interest at all, I'd really appreciate it if you would get in touch with me. Mars@AOL.com. I was able to obtain that email address through great expense several years ago, and I really hope that you will get in contact and that we can talk about Mars together and maybe just share influences or thoughts you might have about the red planet. You're surely welcome to come. Again, please get in touch with me, or you can sign up with Susie Atkins. Susie has the information at the information desk, and actually, to be honest, I'm here most nights. If find yourself looking for something to do and it's not the first Wednesday of the month, maybe take a chance and just stop on by, and you could bring something to show me, or something that we could talk about, and we could just maybe get together and just talk about Mars. I hope to see you soon. Dateline, January 22nd, 2014. Mars rover finds odd jelly donut on surface of Mars. 2 NASA photographs here show the surface of Mars, one taking a week before the other. The mysterious appearance of the jelly donut in the interim is thought to have been caused by the rover driving over the area, possibly moving the jelly donut. Scientists are absolutely stumped to how a jelly donut mysteriously appeared on the surface of Mars as if out of nowhere. The rover, which landed on Mars in 2004, took the image earlier this month. Chief NASA scientist says, "I think the wheels probably kicked the jelly donut up, which then somehow slid into view." Early testing of the jelly section has revealed characteristics unlike any jelly donut the rover has discovered during its decade-long mission on Mars. Either way, the donut has been named Pineapple Island and provided an unexpected science bonus. Much of the donut is nearly white, and a portion is deep red in color, so it may have been flipped over upside down when the wheel dislodged it. This is unique and something that warrants further study.
Well, sir, it's late afternoon as we join our friends at the small house halfway up in the next block now.
Afternoon, and the phone rang, and here was old Ed. "What's this I hear about you roaming around the North American continent last week, Guck?" he says. "I don't know, Ed," I says. "What did you?" I started to tell him, and hadn't more than said about 9 words, and in come Miss Gregg with some hurry-up papers to okay. So I told Ed I'd call him back later and hung up.
Which concludes another brief interlude at the small house halfway up in the next block.
Ernest L. Norman wrote The Truth About Mars, 1955. It has been my consistent habit to spend an hour or so of the late evening in quiet meditation. During these hours, I've made innumerable contacts with interplanetary beings, those that have passed from this plane of existence. It was in the second month of 1955, evening, first part of May. While in a deep meditative state, I suddenly perceived a rather strange-looking man standing before me. At first I thought him to be Chinese. His dress and general appearance was somewhat similar to that of a man of China. After introducing himself as Nor-El, however, he quickly explained to me that he was from the planet Mars, and that, if so desired, I could go there with him in astral flight, and he would be my personal guide. He further assured me it was quite obvious that a complete understanding was not possible in one visitation. Since this first trip had been made, I've returned on several occasions. In fact, Nor-El often stood beside me as I wrote and cleared things up, refreshed my memory, recording those details that were not entirely clear. Sex relations on Mars were very sacred and considered a great creative gift. There are none of the usual sexual stimulants, such as advertising, spiced heavy foods, etc., those which tend to overexcite the people of Earth. Consequently, sex on Mars assumes its rightful place. The Martians have also developed reincarnation to a point where it forms an integral part of their lives. They plan for a future time when they will again relive a new life with old friends and relatives. Many children frequently identify themselves as former lovers. Another great thing about the Martian peoples, they don't have money. They actually use no money. There's no banking system. The citizen of Mars is, in a sense, his own bank. His own medium of exchange is his honesty, his credit, so to speak. Everyone works here. There's no loafers or no unemployed. The Martians take great pride in their vocation, and work is done for personal gain, not selfish reasons, as it is on Earth. My guide went on to explain that the science of changing atomic vibrational rates is very advanced. That if the Earthman could possibly learn this, it would remove all the present-day barriers. Barriers such as materials, fuel pressures, and hundreds of other hindrances to space flight. At present, their experiments have progressed to the advanced state where man's body can be changed into electrical energies, sent over a radar beam, and changed back to the original state, all in a matter of a split second, and with no pain or discomfort to the individual involved. The Earthlings could very much gain from such technology. Our present civilization, good as it is in some respects, leaves much to be desired. It has been the purpose of Nor-El, the people of Mars, and myself to bring you some understanding of their ways of life, hoping thus to bring about not only among the nations of the Earth world, but future interplanetary relationships, all of which will be harmonious and conducive for a better way of life. We all salute you and wish you infinite love, wisdom, and peace. The kitchens on Mars would be a delight to any Earth woman. All cooking is done in an oven which is built into a wall cabinet. The oven operates on very high frequencies which cook foods in a matter of moments, sometimes seconds. There's a dial-like indicator which is preset. The food to be cooked is placed in the oven, the door closed, a red light flashes, and presto, the meal is cooked. After dinner, the dishwashing is a very quick and simple process. The dishes are placed in a metal cabinet, a dial set, and after a few moments, all are clean and sparkling. The bathroom is also quite different. The stool appears or disappears in the wall as needed. Disposal is efficiently taken care of by electrolysis. Very little water is used. The people of Mars are smaller than those of Earth, averaging only 4 foot 6 inches in height. They are somewhat Mongolian in appearance. The Martians are much older in soul evolution than the Earthians. They originally migrated in spacecraft to Mars from a dying planet more than 1 million years ago. They have also come to this Earth and started a colony, but found it very impractical to maintain. It's been explained to me, Narelle, that this colony became our Chinese race through the evolution of time. The Martians are a quiet, peace-loving people. Their clothing simple, with loose, flowing lines, beautifully decorated. Nothing to bind them. They are simply made of brilliant colors, including many shades unknown to us. All clothing is made of synthetic materials, as no natural fibers are grown.
The human has been neutralized.
Robinson Crusoe on Mars is such a great film. The guy crashes on Mars, and you think he's gonna die, but he finds a way to build a little fire and find himself shelter. And I guess the fire he started melted some sand, and somehow the sand released enough oxygen for him to breathe. And he woke up sweaty and technicolor and looked around a bit. And then a little later he found a monkey or something, and the monkey was like a companion to him. I think, in fact, he may have been traveling with the monkey, or the monkey was in a test satellite that may have also crashed on the surface. And anyway, he gave this monkey some saltine crackers, and was a deviously fiendish plot to get the monkey to be thirsty enough to go find some water. And then this monkey goes and finds some water, and our guy our Robinson Crusoe, I suppose, this movie was written or directed or something by Adam West, the guy that would later become Batman. The Batman. The best Batman. The one that I think is the most realistic of all the Batmen. Honestly. The movie itself, though, is available in the Criterion Collection. I believe it is out on Blu-ray now, and I'd very much like to see it. In fact, I was talking with a friend that perhaps I'll buy it and he'll make a rip of it, and then we'll half it. He'll have it in his preferred medium, and I'll have it in mine, and we'll both have a copy of it. So perhaps that's in my near future to watch it again. It was a favorite of mine, and I've watched it on TV many times throughout my life, especially my younger life. I dare say it's been more than a decade since I've seen this film, and I don't really remember all the details, but I do remember it being fantastically fascinating. I saw the movie before I'd ever read the original Robinson Crusoe on Mars. And so in this one, there's this situation that happens where he realizes he's not alone. These aliens are looking for him, and they zoom around in the sky and shoot down these pulse-like weapons and keep blowing things up. I think it's reminiscent of the scene in Star Wars where they hide the Millennium Falcon inside of an asteroid, only this guy's hiding in a cave. And he's figured out how to make a little bit of oxygen out of burning sand or rocks, and he's tricked his monkey into going to find him some water. And then he met this beautiful slave woman, I believe, and he fell in love with her, or, otherwise seduced her being a native of the planet and a native Martian. And so he's hanging out with her, and they're kind of doing a domestic thing when all of a sudden they start getting these visitations by these aliens that aren't only trying to break their legs, but they're trying to, in fact, find them and kill them. Very intolerant people. I believe the mixed marriage had offended them in some way. Or perhaps just the visitations to their planet alone was enough to incite their hateful Martian rage. Mars as a planet has 2 moons. One moon is named Fear, and the other moon is named Chaos. And then it's important to note that Mars is named for a very warlike god. I think it's Ares. And it makes me think about myself being a Sagittarius. And, of course, Sagittarius is named after an awful god who just likes to kill things and, apparently is very creative. So, as they say, destruction and anarchy can be a creative force and should be embraced as the creative force that it is. And I suppose that's what we have with this god of war, Martian soil, and these moons of fear and chaos that orbit around it like junior thugs circling around a main member. That cat in the white leather jacket in the Michael Jackson Beat It video. He's the main dude. He's got the clean white leather jacket on. I mean, when you're living on the streets in 1980s New York, the only way that you could keep white shoes and white pants and a white leather jacket that clean would be to have a band of minions about you to do things like opening ketchup and putting them on fries or opening doors. There's really no way to maintain that sterile-like appearance, Not to mention to develop the dance moves that were so important for survival in 1980s New York. That young man would have done fine on the planet Mars. I think at the end of the movie, what happens is that, like, these other Earthlings show up and somehow they rescue him. Like he flies off and goes home. It's a successful movie, and that our hero makes it out alive and overcomes lots of difficult situations, setting up camp there, and him and his lady friend, they go on to get an apartment, and she breaks off and gets a career. And in fact, the spinoff to this whole story ends up being the Mary Tyler Moore Show. The spinoff to this whole story ends up being the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Girl, you're going to make it on your own. From Martian slave woman to free spirit in the big city, making her own rules and making her own time. I'd highly recommend you check out Robinson Crusoe on Mars. Get it at your favorite well of obtaining. And, tell me what you think. Mars has long held fascination with humans. I think one of the reasons for this is the fact that you can see it. Not a lot of humans out there creating mythologies about the planet Pluto. And I think it's kind of the out of sight, out of mind situation. Pluto is a planet. Rock on.